All right, welcome to you Cancers out there. My name is Athen, and this is for October of 2014. All right, so we've got the eclipse season now in October, and you've been hearing me talk about this, most of you, since April. And April was a very transformative month, okay? There's very volcanic energy last month, and the way the eclipses work is you look at them in series, in succession, and you follow them. They kind of tell a story, and one leads to the next. So think back to April, okay? What changed in your life? And whatever it is, okay, it's coming to a culmination now, this eclipse season. And just like with every beginning, with every culmination, something that comes to fruition, there's also a beginning, okay? And that's, where the solar and lunar eclipse take place, because when one thing culminates, something else starts. And so what's culminating for you is your ninth house, okay? This is the connection to God, to the divine. And it's also associated with travel. So on a mundane level, it could be travel, study, university. For those of you who started something new in those areas in April, you can see a culmination this month. But it could just be, just overall is just opening up. It's like it's just the opening of the horizons. It can be, higher, like studies that are opening up your mind, but it's just opening you up. And it could be your surroundings through travel, but not necessarily, okay? It's very spiritual, and it always is with you Cancerians, because Pisces rules that ninth house. And so whatever it is, okay, and maybe it's a brand new connection to, the divine, because that's what it's really about. But overall, it's a change in your life path, in your life purpose, because that's what the ninth house, generally on the most fundamental, level, you might say, symbolizes. Okay, so major changes. What changed? What culminated in your path since April? And whatever it is, you can see it certainly coming to a sort of fruition this month. Early in the month, during the 8th, around the 8th when we have the lunar eclipse. And that carries the energy of the full moon. So some sort of harvest, something that's coming to fruition from that, okay? And like I said, with every, ending, it's not an ending, but any culmination, there's always a beginning. And the beginning for you, the solar eclipse on the 23rd is happening in your house, in your 4th house, okay? So something new in the family, or in the home, or with your temple, with your feelings. Okay, the bottom of the chart, the anchor. That's why home and family is associated with the 4th, because on a fundamental level, the 4th is your anchor. It's your roots. It's your security. It's very grounded. It's water energy, but it's grounded. It's your inner temple, your inner self, which is the water, okay, which is the emotions and everything where you come from and your past and all that. It's very spiritual. It's past lives too. So whatever it is, it's because it's going to be different for all of you. Whatever it is, something new there. All right? So whatever is, whatever is going to come to you in terms of your path, it's going to create a new beginning in that 4th house. Might be a new home, might be a brand new relationship, might be a new family member. Sometimes even marriage can be associated with this, as in a new family member coming into the family, a new home, a new person from past life, even, soulmates is ruled by the 4th. So something new there. All right. And speaking of the soulmate stuff, Venus is going to be very close in conjunction to this solar eclipse on the 23rd, which is suggesting that relationships are playing a role in this, which they always are, aren't they? But particularly in this case for you in that 4th house area. Or it could be the relationship with yourself and your connection to yourself. Okay? But for a lot of you, it could be, a lot of you is going to be soulmate, new relationships. Okay, that sort of thing. But in either case, that's the big energy this month, is really emphasized on that 4th house of yours. Okay? And interestingly, Mercury's going retrograde this month, and he just so happens to be going retrograde in that 4th house. Okay? Right before the eclipses happen. Actually, right in the beginning of the month on the 4th. He goes retrograde in your 4th house. So here's kind of how I see this. I see it as there's a story unfolding. There's a timeline, a sort of play unfolding in all of this. And what I'm seeing is in the beginning of the month, there's a lot of concentration, or there's going to be a reflection, or something's going to change in that fourth house area for you, and it's going to fuel you into a period of more reflection and discovery, self reflection, whatever. And so that is going to be retrograding through the fourth house, and so you're going to be thinking about it. And so whatever it is, it's going to spawn this new open horizons that you guys are happening in that ninth house, new beginnings in the whole life path area. All right, whatever it is, it could be, it could be the home, and then all of a sudden you realize that, wow, when you have a foundation, when you have this new home, it's like very expansive, because once you have an anchor, then you have you have open fields. From a place, don't you have a place to come back to? You can travel and do all kinds of stuff. Could be like that. Could be a new location where you guys could study, where you might study, or a family member who is very spiritual, or something a strong connection there, spiritual connection with that. So that's happening early in the month, because then the lunar eclipse is on the 8th, and then mid-month we have a lot of planets changing signs. That's when Venus and the Sun go into your fourth house. So I think whatever that is, okay, whatever this new sense of freedom and path that's going to unfold for you, it's going to then you're going to put a lot of energy into the home or the fourth house stuff, okay, whatever it is, the family, the relationship. And so from mid-month onward, there's a lot of attention there, and the Sun's going to be there, so that's where your focus is, that's where your creativity is, that's where your passion is, all right? And the relationship's going to be there because whatever it is will be in that fourth house. Lots of connections with family this month in general. And soulmates, because soulmates are everywhere. And energizing you, and that's going to fuel you. And for the second half, there's a lot of energy, motivation, and inspiration, joy taking place in that fourth house. And then so I think whatever that is, that's when I think you're really going to see this new beginning, or the new beginning might come from it. It's usually not until we are actually looking or have that conscious awareness on something does something happen. That's really how the Sun plays its role in the new moons, full moons, and in this case the eclipses. Because you put the conscious awareness onto it, and then when you do that, then you see something that may have always been there or whatever, but you see it now, and that creates the new beginning. Or someone, serendipitously comes into your life because you're looking, or there's a different frequency vibration or whatever. Okay, but it's not so much on the relationship side. I don't want to overemphasize on that for you guys. It's a lot to do with your anchor and your roots and your past. Okay, really feeling connected to that and really owning your temple. Shining that conscious light within, which you guys normally do anyways and are very good at. And you guys have been putting in a lot of work in that area, by the way. You've had Saturn transiting your fourth house. So you guys have been a lot of you have been working around the home a lot, with the family a lot, with your emotions a lot, becoming mature with your feelings. That's Saturn in the fourth. And so all this work you've been putting in there, I see it as paying off, because it's a very positive time right now. There's a grand trine taking place. There's a lot of easy energy I see with these eclipses. And so for those of you who've been putting in a lot of work in that fourth house area, I can see this as a time where, okay, something new came from it. Something positive, something nice. And but in either case, it's something that you've been working on, I think, for some time, and something will stem from that'll perhaps shift you in a new direction. Okay, but it's coming from, I think, a lot of this energy and awareness that you're putting into the home on the second half of the month. Now, like I said, there's a grand trine, and it's involving Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node. Okay, so let's talk about Mars, because Mars is playing an important role. Now, Mars, part of this grand trine, he's going to be transiting your fifth house, first half of the month, than he was back in September. So there's been a lot of energy in your heart's desire, and your passion, and your joy. Okay, that's what the fifth house is. Creativity, even. A lot of you putting a lot of energy into that. New projects, new creative ventures, whatever. Okay, and that's where that's the energy of the first half, where a lot of this energy is still in your third house. So this still has to do with last month, with your communications, your exchanges, your interchanges with others. A lot of you became very social, and then so mid-month when Mars goes into your 6th, it's almost like the attention goes less from the outside and goes more into the inside, okay? Because the 6th house is ruled by Virgo, which is feminine energy, and 4th house is feminine also, which means receptive, inside. And so when Mars goes in there, it seems like whatever this new beginning is, you're going to kind of be, it's kind of coming from your work. It's coming from what you're improving and building about yourself, because mid-month, Mars is going into that 6th house, which means a lot of energy and work in the 6th house area, which has to do with your health, your routine, overall just improving your life, okay, taking care of your survival, which is so important, because you realize, you know, all this passion, all this joy for life is, you know, it requires you to sustain it, okay, and make it real, put it into your life, and that's where the shift is for you, and that's where you're really going to be putting in a lot of that energy. And I think by putting in that energy in that 6th house stuff, it's going to create a lot of this 4th house. But in either case, there's a lot of trines, a lot of sextiles, and so this is all just happening naturally. Okay, this is just the way events are going to unfold. All right, and so all of this stuff is being supported by Jupiter, and it's being supported by Uranus in the 9th. So let's talk about Jupiter. You've heard me talk about Jupiter transiting your 1st house. Okay, a lot of you have been, you know, coming into a new life, you know, a new beginning, a new 12-year cycle. When Jupiter, you know, comes around into your 1st house, and new things, it's like a new beginning start, and you're opening your horizons. A lot of emphasis on that opening of the horizons for you. But anyways, all this, you know, this expansion of your horizons is being channeled into all this and supporting you, along with the freedom that you guys have been having in your path, because Uranus has been transiting your 9th, which means a lot of you, your path has been changing a lot. Lots of changes there, but that's good, because it's helping you adapt and be malleable and go with the flow, which is what you're about. You understand, with Pisces ruling your 9th, you understand that going with the flow is how the path unfolds. And so, you know, that's what Uranus is showing you. 1 second something changes, the next second something changes, you just roll with the punches. And all of that is supporting all of this transformation. But the emphasis is really on that 4th house for you guys, like I said, with Mercury going retrograde there, and the eclipse, and then Venus, you know, going in there and all of that. So, yeah, think back to April, and I think you might get an indication of what's culminating, but I think we won't really know what those new beginnings are until we get closer towards mid to end of the month, maybe even mid-month, when the planets start to shift. All right, guys, so I'm going to draw an oracle card to see where Spirit wants a little bit more attention for your reading. All right? Libra. This came up in my last one, too. This is interesting. Okay, this came up for the Geminis. Now, Libra is that 4th house, okay? That is the house where all this transformation and stuff is taking place for you guys. But what Libra is really showing and signifying is balance, okay? That it requires balance. That the home or the family, you know, whatever this stuff is in the 4th house area for you, it requires harmony, all right? And, you know, peace, because it's the scales, it's the even keel, you know, and balancing all these different aspects of your life and making sure that everything is even. There's not too much emphasis on one way or the other. And that's the thing, too, with Mercury retrograde in that 4th, you know, I think that might be what you might be reflecting on, how you can bring more balance and peace in that area. And that might be what's really spawning a lot of these changes in the 4th house. But in either case, just remember Libra, okay? Very important, I feel, for you guys to keep balance in that 4th house area this month while all these changes are taking place. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe for daily, weekly, and monthly horoscopes from me. And take care, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.